Reggae Interviews. Word Sound Power.
This is DJ 745 here at the 12 Tribes HQ in Kingston, Jamaica, reasoning with Micah Shemaiah. He has just released his latest musical blessing, Jamaica Jamaica. I'm going to describe this album as a roots dancehall album. It's filled with soulful melodies. It has a really authentic 80s vibe. Micah, great to see you once again.
Yeah, man, big up, man. Yeah, man, we give thanks once again. Every time, I love every time. DJ 745.
What a great concept this album is. I feel as though your voice and your style of voice really fits the rhythm tracks that you've chosen to work with on this new album, Jamaica Jamaica.
Well, as always, we always try to make sure that, the music connects not only lyrically but melodically. It's the reason why we even do music in the first place, because of the whole melodic nature of music and, how it hits the heart, hits the soul. So we always try to keep that, as a part of the thing, so from the 80s energy now, obviously, we come from the 12 tribe upbringing, from the Jalov upbringing, so all of that was already instilled in me through the dances and all them things, so it's never too far from me actually, yeah.
I mean, the title track, Jamaica Jamaica, that was actually teased as a single way back in 2020, has a really serious message. It talks of the problems that are plaguing not just Jamaica but other parts of the world, but you really focusing on some of the issues that are here in Jamaica, and it's almost like a plea that I feel that I hear in your voice.
Yeah, it is a plea, the first 3 tracks of this album is actually speaking to that, exact thing, it is a plea to the youth them have to understand, we know the pain, we grew up in a ghetto, so we know the pain of seeing, that there's no opportunity that is afforded to you, that the whole hierarchy of the system and the aristocracy that was created in Jamaica, them not really set for make sure the lower half of the country, like the people them that born in the have-nots, like to make sure them have a chance. So we know the pain where they get to it, them I feel, but at the same time, a youth have to look upon it and look upon the reality of life, and the reality is, that aggression to the cause of violence and wickedness really brings no fruit, so if you even make a little money right now and you're investing in that type of lifestyle, there's no happiness for you, all of them man that we herald over the years, these big name guys that did a lot of bad stuff, a lot of Jamaican people, these names are names that we use when we're playing around or when we calling each other types of names affectionately, and we don't really understand that these guys made a lot of money but they lived a life of misery, so we have to understand what we are looking for. We are looking for be happy, because even living in the ghetto, I say enough ghetto people happier than when time money start make, so we've seen that experience, and a lot of it is actually true to the case for most people, when money start make, you kind of not have as much fun as you used to have before, whether as a kid or as an adult, so we just trying to speak to the youth them to that effect, to see what really are going on, what the meds, because as me say, even when Mr. the youth them make money now, we still see the portrayal and the promotion of violence and just a downgrading of who we are, because you're not really doing anything to anyone else but downgrading ourselves, because really and truly it's easy to be violent. It's very easy. It's easy to lose yourself. It's easy to lose your mentality. Easy to lose your cool. So the strength really comes from practicing not to lose your cool and not to be violent. Yeah.
I mean, as somebody that's been involved in music now for a number of years and you've grown up, do you feel that some of these issues that are plaguing society, are they getting worse?
I wouldn't say they're getting worse. That what is getting worse is the actual expression of these things, because they're in the minds, that they're selling our TV shows, they're selling our soft drinks, they're selling our artists, violence, sex, drugs, it's selling, so, and it's always been selling. So I wouldn't say in that respect that it's getting worse, because it is a tool of the system to keep everybody in check, and also to have us being consumers of our own demise, really. So it's not getting worse, but as I said, the expression of it is getting more outlandish, more extravagant, because and in Jamaica there's a very very good, what I would say, example of that, because Jamaican artists like to top each other. So a man put out a tune and a man try to top it, and you understand. So it's a thing, and it's not a problem competitively really, but it becomes a problem when the content is very skewed and very corruptive. You know what I mean? So that's what I say when I mean the expression of it is getting wilder, you know. So because back in the day, a man would have sing something about, you know, something lewd, it more in a softer tone. But nowadays it is more, as I say, outlandish. It is more where a man not care, a man just say the thing and say it terrible and violent, and them things are not really cool because we have youth, you know what I mean, and we not really want our youth to grow up, and we don't want our youth in our house to tell we them thing there. You understand? So we know how you them grew up on them type of thing there, you know what I mean? So consciousness as a whole is not what's a Rastaman thing, you know what I mean? It's really supposed to be a world thing. That is why the Rastaman music did speak to people back in the day, because it was a world thing. It was something connected to every art, you know. So it's not a Rastaman thing, you know what I mean? That's why I say I do the album here now more for the youth them on the street. But them know say as a Rasta man, I grew up in the ghetto too, I understand, you see me, but at the same time you don't have to be violent, you don't have to be all this thing that them actually expect you to be, because them already have a buckle for put in, you know. And that enough for the youth them to know when you become what the system expects you to be, which is violent, wild, because you never get this and you never get that. Them already have a buckle created to put you in. But you don't even know that, you know what I mean? Yeah.
I mean, this new album, for me, is just filled with some really classic rhythm tracks, like the song Jamaica Jamaica, the title track. It rides a really powerful version of the Couscous rhythm track.
Oh, yeah.
What a powerful rhythm. Who built the rhythm?
The rebuild of it was by Nico them in Evidence, because they actually redid it. And also we have on the rhythm the Real Rock, which was redid by Will T in England as well. Yeah. So it's a lot of two rhythms that were actually recreated from them time. Because to be honest, when I was growing up in reggae music, I was fortunate. I would say fortunate, because I was fortunate enough not to be caught up in the who's and the what's and who did what and whatever. You know what I mean? I was brought up in the 12 tribe on a certain level of spirituality where it afforded me a way of seeing things through a spiritual lens, you know. So I could see where the vine of something was coming from, and what good that it would deal to the people, or what bad it would deal to the people, you know. So I was more connected to that and who was propagating these things. So, you know, people like Bob Marley and them, at the end of the day, when I listen to his lyrics and listen to on a whole, you know, what he brought, you know, in terms of his contribution, you can see the vine of where it comes from, and you can see the good that it tries to replicate in others, you know. So these are the things that I used to fasten myself to. So I never got to the whole, as you call it, the anthology of reggae music and all these things. And I was more into what Haile Selassie was saying and what my parents were teaching me, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna give thanks to that, because as I say, that keep me from being frightened for what the reggae music in Jamaica had to offer, what the industry or the lack of it had to offer, you know what I mean? Because that's what trapped a lot of youths, because them became frightened with, oh, let's go to this studio, this big name studio, and we must get a bus, or we must. That never did frighten away, you know, which is why the movement became what it became from the early days when Jehovah Evil, and because we sit down and we make our own music in our own studio as to what we wanted to do and what we wanted to say, and nobody could, what I call now, you know, people like to edit your stuff, and nobody could do that, you know. Yeah, so that's the whole way. That's of Rastafari, and that's the way that we're trying to show the youth them. Say that is a way how you can express yourself and even become successful in life in terms of a financial aspect. Because Jana gonna make you go down a certain road and just hungry, you know. But it's a truthfulness of heart that you have to do it with, you know what I mean. It can't be just about making this grain, you know. A lot of people you see doing that, them already were born with bread. You know what I mean? So you can't follow that. Rastafari is about the ground, it's about poor people, to be honest. And as Junior Gang say, we're not trying to struggle all our lives, we're not trying to be poor all our lives, you know what I mean? So we're trying to get to it, but the people have to get to it mentally first, you know. Yeah.
When did the vision come to actually expand the single Jamaica Jamaica into a full-length album project?
We've always had the idea. I mean, from I made the song, I mean, the song really came from what was happening, obviously, in Jamaica. And then, you know, I've always had the idea to expand it into, you know, to say more. But I also, within the scope of that, music is creativity. So also, I also had other material that I had done from previous years. Like even the Why You Killing Them So track is a song that I did from previous years from EDB time. You know what I mean?
Okay.
When I was a Papine and them thing there. So. And it was the same type of energy that I was feeling with the Jamaica Jamaica. So songs like these, really felt like they could connect, and then therefore the whole concept of the album trying to speak to a more roots dancehall nature to the youth them on the streets and thing. It just it fell together perfectly, and then we just made new tracks to add to the flow, and you know what I mean? Yeah.
And the album itself is coming out on Evidence Music, who are celebrating 10 years as well.
Yeah, man. Evidence Music. I've been chilling with them for a long time. Close to that 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm bridging them still. Nico, and Derek, and there's another Nico. So there's two Nicos. Yeah. So good youth them still. To be honest, and them trying to do a good work in Europe. You never. You can't too sure about people. You never know who is who in this world. So when you find people that actually you can have a good connection with and do works with, I do it from a spiritual standpoint. So it has to be from a certain connectivity. So that is always good, and we give thanks to that. So we do give thanks to the works of Evidence. You know what I mean? And as I say, I'm not one who in Jamaica who is trying to go to itch up at RFM or itch up at this radio station to get my songs played, or if I go itch up at a studio to be recorded or whatever. So just send these people from wherever they come from all over the world, and we connect with them and through good vibes, and they help to put the music out there. So this is what we're dealing with. You know what I mean? And we're trying to do it in such a way where it's not of a corruptive element.
Yes.
And that means it won't cause a corruptive result.
Yes.
Yeah.
The song that you also just mentioned a few moments ago, Never Miss, rides that really heavy cut of the real rock. It's like, it's one of those 80s sort of like versions that is kind of not one that gets played often. That rhythm was built by Will Tear, who you collaborated with on the original Dread. There's also a great video as well, The Waves, The Gold Up.
The Gold Up, that was done in the Evidence studio as well. Somebody recently asked me if all those videos are done in the same studio, because they can't believe that so many artists are, but most of the times actually is, because a lot of people pass through Nicodem studio in Switzerland a lot, so
Yes.
Yeah, man. So that was done in studio in Switzerland last year, I think. Nice vibes as usual. The Never Miss song, I had it for a while now as well, because I've been performing that song in dub shows in Europe, and I did it in Africa as well for a long time now, because it was a song that I wrote as like a vibe song, but I wasn't really putting out vibe songs. I was trying to speak to the more spiritual nature of the people and enlightening the people. So you kind of put those things, which is more rocker style, more vibes of what Rasta deal with, on the back burner. So I've had that song for a while as well too, but for this album, you're trying to mix a little bit of the seriousness, because with the youth them now, you can't, just like my own youth, you learn that too. You have to balance it. You can't just make him feel stressed out every day that you're pressuring him. Some of the days you have to give him a nice tie. Some of the time you have to carry him go somewhere and make him flex with him friends or hold a vibe with him. So it's a balance. So on the album I try to do that. So I put some songs where I speak to what go on and how the youth them heart and move, and then we put some songs now where people can just vibe to, and the youth them can say, yeah, Rasta still a whole vibe to, So Never Miss is that type of vibe, and it really speaks to, just as me say, a youthfulness within I Man, because it's just the words never miss, is a youthfulness that come from, it's not something where it's a deep spiritual tone to it. Yeah, it's more playful, and so yeah, man.
One of the other singles that was released a few months ago, Run Things, rhythm track I believe was by Dub Akon.
Yeah, Dub Akon.
Yes, some really powerful lyrics as well within that song. I wonder if we now learn nothing better.
Yeah, as me say, a shoot up. You know what I mean? I mean, where that go? You know what I mean? If I'm gonna tell people all the while, if me I deal with shoot up, I mean live here, so you are deal with shoot up, and you live less, so there's no way we can exist. There's no way anything going to exist. So no shop not going to exist, no bank, no supermarket, because me I deal with shoot up, and you are deal with that. So if me no shoot you, my picnic go end up shoot one of your picnic or shoot somebody in your family or just vice versa, and it continues till everybody dead. You understand? So me not see the sense in them things. So people have to understand, say, just as how the tree them are grow. If you notice how the tree them are growing, the tree them grow and do them thing and them live. That tree over there so grow and do it thing, it bigger same way, but it still not stop that one here from live. If that is the case, just put we now as man with a different power and chance, so we can move a tree, move some whistle or something where I eat down the tree, and you understand? So it's all in good. Everything is in rotation of good. So therefore, if we inject evil in it, it cannot have no end. So when a man I think to have a good family, picnic in yard, chill out, and you want to be a shoot up lifestyle, there's no end to that, brother. There's no good end to that. Some of the try to do them say it don't make sense. It just, for me, it just don't make no sense. I mean, true. Yeah, man, it don't make sense at the end of the day.
There's also a dub version, so we have 2 dub versions on the album, a dub version of the Run Things and also a dub version of the Jamaica Jamaica as well on the Cuss Cuss.
Yeah, dub versions is a part of the music, you know what I mean? We hear somebody own certain titles now, we call it, but over the years it's part of reggae, so we don't leave it out. Obviously every album I've ever done, I've always had versions, I always have dub on it, because it's just how the feel go, you know, you love it, and yeah, I'm not gonna left it out ever, you know what I mean? So everything that I will do in the future, you'll definitely see some dub versions. Yeah, of course, because it's creativity without the vocal, so it's basically musicians, you know what I mean, doing for them thing, and yes. that is definitely to be respected as much as our voices and the rhythm, because without one or the other, you don't have an ensemble of music, you don't have a proper song, you understand? So yeah, man, it's just love. It's just love. It's just love for every element that creates goodness and life and make you feel good. You know what I mean? Yeah.
We were talking off air earlier, and I was saying to you that this new album, it almost is reminiscent of the first song that I heard from Micah Shemaiah. Big up Roughneck Schmiller, because he was the man that introduced me to that song, The Dread at the Controls. That was what, 2013?
Yeah, man. Big up Roughneck. Yeah. Well, as we said, the same feeling now, but in them time that we just I try to get myself heard, you know. And then it was me and Sativa and TJ and Infinite Isa with us apart, and then at the epiphany like come to me down a country for just create a song out of, you know, me I hear the rhythm, because we listen to one of our old Prince Farai CD or I think it was a CD, and I hear the rhythm and I said, Jano, and it just came to me, because I say, no matter where you see them I go on with I dread at the control, and we just start sing the thing, and the man them come in and I say, yo, put a verse, reach back a town, we link Sativa with that, I think we have one vinyl Thursday we think, and we in the car, and I say, yo, find something mad, you know, why you put something on it and shit. We go over the studio, we mash it up, and that was it. It was them kind of thing that, as I say, is the vibe of ghetto youth. Them time the whole way Rasta youth, you know, but all the way ghetto youth too. So it was just from that, and from that Rockers did born, and from that Jalov and Brigadier Jerry and everything they did born, and from that Stereograph born, isn't it? And the man they manifest now the spirit within them, we just touch them and manifest Rastafari. But it's from a ghetto perspective, from a have-not poor people perspective. A man bring out the magic out of themselves for just firstly, you know, appease himself off the strain, you know, kind of get away from the strain a little bit, and then secondly to touch the world, you know, and then thirdly get back from the world, so man can live and survive and come out of this down pressure, you know what I mean? So as I say, it's all another rotation. Yeah, man.
I mean, in this last decade, I feel that we've really seen Micah grow as an artist in terms of the depth of your lyrics and your spirituality, I feel, as well, in some of your previous releases, like the album Still, that was released in 2021. Some really powerful words and messages. Do you feel that you've grown as an artist?
Well, I'm growing as a person, you know. Artistry is really something that is a clinical thing. It's more like something you practice, you know what I mean? And I don't, to be honest. I've never had that thing to rehearse every week and be singing every minute. And most of the time when people see me on a tour, I didn't sing for maybe 2 months before that, you know what I mean? Wow. Yeah, because I'm living, you know what I mean? I'm living a life. I have a kid, I have my sister, you know what I mean? I have friends. You know what I mean? I have other things in Rastafari world I'm concerned about. You know, so it's not just about music, you know. Music is the calling because Jah give me that for so I can say certain things to the world and get certain messages out where him as well want to get out, you know. But I live same way, so it's just within the rotation of that, you know what I mean? But album wise, you know what I mean, we always manifest, you know, what is within us, but at the same time I am trying to grow in the artistry, as I say, you know, not so much these days trying to be, you know, the greatest singer or whatever. When you're young, you're trying to sing as good as you can and whatever. Now I have a more universal balance of what key is and what the structure of music is on a whole. So my spirituality feeds into that now. So I don't need to be trying to do music anymore. So I give thanks for that. So the Father has blessed me with that continuation where, you know, I could have grown to that and still growing, you know. So now I don't really too much practice music, you know. I practice my spirituality so I don't lose it, yeah, because I don't want to lose it, you know. It's the most important thing to me. So I practice that, and then, you know, as I grow older, you know, I will lose elements of who I am physically, you know what I mean. So to not lose elements of who I am spiritually is the goal for me, yeah.
Talking of those old school vibes like Dread at the Control, another song that I think that, you know, you previewed probably a few years ago was the Roots Blockbuster, another version on the Real Rock rhythm track. So I'm always thinking that must be one of your top 10 rhythm tracks from those dancehall days, for you to have two different tracks on two different versions of the Real Rock.
Well, it's not really, you know, to be honest, you know, I love it. But, you know, when I was growing up, it was guitars for me and just singing ballads, you know what I mean? So I never grew up on that type of rhythm thing. I actually swore once that I would never sing on a rhythm. I would, like one of those rhythms, I would create my own stuff, you know. So, you know, it's just life and how you go through, you know. I love that rhythm still. I love the vibe a bit, especially when you're singing on the sound and, yeah, it have that, you know, real crash vibe. But all those songs came from just, you know, the Never Miss came from me and Yardcore sitting down and having a reason in my studio back in the day, you know, the Bigger Dread studio, with just a whole vibe and a reason. And like we put out some song and I make him hear some song. I think we did just drop Legal and him did a preview it or premiere it at Dubwise. And he must say, yo, my lord, you're never missing up for real, you know. I would just that's the way I laugh. So the words actually came from him, to be honest. So I used the words from him and created a song called Never Miss, you know what I mean, and just expounded on it and thing. And then the Roots Blockbuster now was Rassi Adnox always used to keep one session named Roots Blockbuster, when we used to put all them bridge in them pan and try for, you know. And Rassi is a poor youth with no money come from no bag or nothing, you know. And him a put on session out all wiki wacky and have me and G-Arc pan it, and you know, that was the first time G-Arc actually performed on a stage. G-Arc can tell you that we did Rude Boy Jamaica together. Is it over there, so yeah. So them kind of little magic there are part of our life, and them thing that me see it special, you know. So when him did up do them whole project there, me say, yo, when we don't make a song named Roots Blockbuster, we show that vibe, the like different artists in our dancehall style, and so we get to it. Me and him voice, we look at thing on it. Then we say, oh, Zana upon it, because we have Zana and Sativa as we impress them in the Roots movement, where I hold up Rastafari works through them words and them livity, you know.
Yes.
So we say, all right, we want Zana upon the track, and we say, yo, Mikey General, link Mikey General. Of course, Issa, is always there, you know. Yes, so Issa did it, I mash up the track too, and I just, yeah, man, it's a jive. It's a jive, man.
I mean, there's other collabs on the album as well. There's a great collab with Bacenta for the Boom Draw. You seem to be an artist that is very open and receptive to collabs with the right people. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, definitely. You know what I mean? Me not no problem. I love collab, you know. To me, music is more beautiful in a collaborative state. But you can't. It's like when Ethiopia stand up. Ethiopia love everybody. His Majesty go around and him show love to everybody. But His Majesty in his whole, in his capacity, was not going to yield to your way of living, nor my way of living, nor anyone's way of living. So me have to live my life, you understand? So me love everybody, me have a whole heap of friends, yes, but me is for Jah, me is for Haile Selassie, me is for the 12 tribe of Israel, me is for Ethiopia, me is for Zion. So me will never change from that. So even though you see me apart with some man and do something with some man, my spirituality and my things stay the same. So if them in my midst, you more gonna see them I do what me I do. In terms of our ordinance or our respectability towards nature, woman, spirit, whatever, you understand? So that's how we want to live, and we're not going to change that. So that is encompassed in everything that we do, you know what I mean? Just to follow how we see the king work. And to me, it is logical. It's not only how the king work, but if you look at naturality, it is more logical that way. If you want to connect to a higher being that is going to preserve your life and preserve who you are, based upon something that is beyond where mankind can even fathom. You see me? You have to live that way there. You have to live that way there. You can't live no other way, you know what I mean? So I just try to live in other capacity there where, you know, I no shift. So, you know what I mean? So when my bridging them come now, I have to work with people where have a certain connectivity. So best center is a youth where I work with other bridging where a Rastafari youth same way and a chant powerful youth, UTH youth, them are some powerful youth, you know. So sometimes we need to just connect the dots. Instead of see someone where the Rastafari works way over there so and some man way over there so we connect the dots and we have one unit, you know, instead of some different production houses where do cross productions and we get the thing together. And I believe that is why the level of production has fallen in the music business, because we're not having enough of that. So creative juices can flow on a cross production type of level and not necessarily just, you know, you just in a little space and try and make your sound and you know really work that way there, you know. So that's why I do them thing there. People like Best Center now is a youth and I see him go through him chat but him not really get that type of heralding like what I see enough ones get, and him quality is obvious to me. It's an extreme quality him have. So you know, so the business really not focusing on your personality or who you are. You know, it more focusing on how gullible you are. You understand? So if you come with a certain self through a song or whatever, them not looking to build what you are in a strong way. You know, they're trying to just sell you. So you have to be just sellable. So if you say no to this, no to that too much times, you're not sellable. Yeah. So you like them there. You know, I see them type of energy there with them you there. So. And when we live up on the hill, you know, in Stone Hill, we did we in the same community basically. So as a youth, I do positive works, Rastafari works. You know, it was only natural for do work with the center, you know what I mean? And also, you know, UTH man, them respect to them as well. You know, them connect with Richie Spice, them Chelsea, them same way. We have some warriors that have, you know, high respect, same way. You know what I mean? 'Cause as me say, it's just a trad. You know, and these warriors, no man not perfect, you know. Man have to know them thing there. And all of them youth are born out a ghetto. That means that them have elements of the thing where them born out or where them are try to cleanse. Still attached to them. Sometimes it's not even within a man it there, you know. Sometimes it's just attached to them. And the love them have feet him can't just run it away. Because sometimes it comes in the form of a person or persons. You understand? So these things happen to these artists sometimes where, you know, we tend to judge from a looking on perspective, but as I say, you have warriors out there where we respect highly, differently, you know what I mean? And Vicenta is a youth and we respect highly, you know?
Now, it's a really well-balanced album. There's a really beautiful song for all the queens, the empresses, Left My Heart in Mobe.
Yes, Left My Heart in Mobe is a song I wrote for my own queen. It's a lot of songs, you know what I mean? But this song is really telling of, you know, how you go through, you know, in your little relationship mentality outside of the spiritual realm, you know, where you go up on a tour and loneliness lick you down and, you know what I mean, you remember your sister in your yard and your family and, you know what I mean, loneliness, you know. So that song really come through a thought of loneliness but also a thought of joy, because the loneliness also brings you into reflecting and you know, looking at the blessings that you have gotten, you know, and through different ones, especially a woman with job put in her life, you know. So that song born out of that, you know. That's how I talk about, you know, down at Trench Town and, you know, all these things, because even my brethren them yesterday, them go Ray Town and them thing there, go all them little vibes and still dance to that little data and, you know, original way. Yeah, so the album is really, as I say, to try and, you know, just bring back the mindset of the people to the original way as much as I can in my own perspective and reflection of what it was or what it is to me, you know.
Yeah.
So that song is also an old school vibe, and as I say, you know, more lighter, sweeter energy for the Empress them, you know.
I've got a feeling that a lot of our viewers are going to be listening through to the album, listening back to these rhythms. The rhythms seem to have like a theme throughout, and I'm sure there's going to be people listening, nodding their heads, thinking, I recognise that rhythm. Where's the origins of that rhythm as well? A bit like the rhythm for Stereo. What a great song that is.
Yeah, Stereo is a rhythm that Nico sent me out of the blue. I'm not even sure where him get that vibration, but you know, and the energy come, and Zion was there when I was making that song too. Zion loved that song, you know. Okay. So yeah, man, it's another vibe where you try to speak to more of a balanced mind, you know what I mean. So you can't just always the roughage, cause even though some people can go through the grit and go through it long, most people can't, you know. So you have to give them a time to relax their mind, and that song is one of such, you know. Yeah.
And that rhythm track, the origins of that, of course, were down at the Black Ark Studios. Family Man, the Billie Jean Chim Cherry rhythm track.
Big Family Man, big up yourself anywhere, my G. You know, we might go through a little thing right now, so, you know, as a lot of the legends are, you know what I mean, we have to pray for them, and we have to give thanks to them. As we say in a Lionheart, you know, them have to live on in a way, you know what I mean, that our purpose, and that our charge as youths, especially, you know, we have to make the hell of them live on through we and through our music and with thoughts, and even how we bring them across to the next generation, you know what I mean? Because them integral, you know, they made it for us, and they made it for us through much duress, much depression, much, you know what I mean? It's never easy. So yeah, man.
One thing that I've noticed is that I know that we keep sort of talking of rhythms today in our reasoning, but you're not an artist that likes to go on rhythm jugglings. Would that be fair to say? We don't really see many Micah Shemaiah songs that are part of big rhythm jugglings. Okay, there's been one or two, like there was a production you did yourself probably a couple of years ago, and then The Line of Judah. There was also the drum song juggling, Who's Playing That Music. There's a few artists on that as well, again, but as an artist, I don't really see you on those rhythm jugglings with 10, 12 artists.
No, I don't. I have different views on the juggling, you know. I understand what it is for the producers to make juggling rhythms, but I don't believe in juggling, because I think it really doesn't speak to creativity. And I think it's a shortcut, and we are now seeing the fruits of what a shortcut is. Because what the rhythm juggling has done, it has on one hand created a success that is now replicated in so many rhythms, that just because that rhythm was successful, let's make a rhythm like that. You know what I mean? Exactly. So we used to have the time where we had the big rhythms that come out where, you know, through them big songs were on them back in the day. They weren't juggling, but sometimes you'd have two artists, maybe a Delroy Wilson or maybe a Burning Spear, or, you know, on the same rhythm, or, you understand? That used to happen, but it wasn't a juggling. But now you'd have, in the later time, like when our time, Caesar would have come and jump on for them old rhythm there and mash up the world, and you understand? So them forever live because them had that quality and them had that, yes. You understand? But when the man them start make juggling rhythms now, I think they shortchange the creative side of the music industry, and also for the musicianship as well. Yeah, because musicianship is what brought out a lot of the creativity. You know what I mean? The musicians bring the melody this so, bring the melody yes so, but all of the artists now started to, you know, rotate on one rhythm. Yeah, so basically the air of melody, there's not really much places to go. You know what I mean? So that created a monotony for me. I'm not know about nobody else. I go to festivals and watch one artist after the other come on stage, and then each one of them coming on stage doing a hit song on the same rhythm. Right. Yeah, which after a while got very, as I say, monotonous to me. So me never really check for that. But as I say, I can understand where it came from. I can understand with the nature of how Jamaican people have had to live and create life from very little. You know, it all became a hustle at some point. Yeah. So me see that now being a part of the hustle. So me can't really knock them thing they will get to you them create for try and make money and live. But for me never really like it. So I never endeavor in that way, you know what I mean? And as I say, yeah, I never really, the Line of Judah rhythm is not really even a juggling, you know. It was originally that rhythm was created with me and Kazam.
Yes.
First of all, for Kazam to perform his song on it, me to perform a song on it, and then in when I dropped my song on my album, later on it was really for us as a unit at that time, being people like Empress Sativa. So Sativa had a song on it as well, and which he ended up doing on another rhythm. And Brian Gould had a song on it. So though it was just us them time there. And then in the forward now, you know, we made connections and good vibes and good things, you know, people like Addis and my brethren, so I make a good connection with him. I'm just reach out to him and say, well, that beautiful if you have an instrumental, you know what I mean? And deal with that. And then now I link up, me and Yadi apart them time, they're very close, and my sister did I get kind of a little, you know, side game vibes with more illustrious brethren we have, you know, which we might put out there. Already know thing, and you know, it's like I actually had a conversation with Awan, which was very close to him, would tell me say him never ready and him never sound right and blah blah blah, you know what I mean? So, you know, how me stay, that's how me stay. So I link him and me and him a reason, and you know what I mean? I just make him know say, yeah man, no problem, you can do a tune on the line of Judah way, you know what I'm saying? And then Carbon was there as a part of him energy as a label mate, basically. I do the thing. And Carbon is a powerful youth. See me? So just energies them thing that out there. We don't really endeavor for, you know what I mean? So we could do juggling and we do.
It just kind of evolved.
Yeah, and as I say, a lot of things that we do in music, in life, you know, it's not something where we endeavor for go create. What we endeavor to do is be within a unified space, be together, laugh together, smoke together, chill together, eat together, play together, listen music together, play music together. So whatever come out of that is what the items see, you know? Yeah, man.
Two of the closing tracks on the album, they kind of steer listeners more deeper into the roots. The songs Real Way featuring Sahi and Never Fail I think it's like a perfect way to close the album.
Yes, Many Mile, Sahi, the Many Mile. Yeah, Sahi is a youth in the ghetto as well with me. I've had that song for a while too. So he's a youth, a wicked singer, but him is a dancehall youth. You know, him do him thing in a dancehall, but him keep it very positive. You know what I mean? And then Mr. Sam have a soul and an energy. So, you know, we worked that track together a long time. And we just decided, say, you know what, I'm going to put him on an album here so that, you know, the world can hear him in a certain respect. Because him have him dancehall following as well.
Right.
But in a more roots collective, you know. And then the Real Way, you know, is our next tune where it's just to the roots, as I say, you know, Jaja the real way, you know what I mean? No matter where, no one want to say, I just that we say and that we're going to say forevermore, you know. Rastafari is the real way because it unifies, you know. It gives chance for life. It gives chance to love and not to live in a hate and a miserable state, you know. So, man, all of them tune it and then Never Feel Like, same thing as I say, just I give thanks for our birth, you know, for the brought up see our parents give way, and you know, all of these little things will make we who we are and we can share love with the world, you know, we just I give thanks. Yeah, man.
I mean, I think it's a really well put together album. You seem to put a really high level of importance, not just on your songwriting, not just the productions, but also the visuals, the artwork. With Micah Shemaiah, we get the complete package, and we know the vinyl's coming and everything. So it's, you know, that's I think what the people of the world are sort of like really crying out for.
Well, that's actually why the album took so long to come out, because we actually were waiting on the vinyl, you know, because you know nowadays if you have a backup, it's like you have a long line.
6 months.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why that happened, you know. But it's ready now, and it's a full package, you know. For the videos, we don't have this big budget, and probably even if we had, we would try to shoot the videos as real as possible, so that people can connect to the words of the song and not necessarily get distracted by fandangles, you know what I mean? Because we don't really need fandangles and roots. Roots is really speaking to the enlightenment of your soul, and therefore within that, because all the fandangles already exist, that's why the devil couldn't tempt Christ, you know. So we need to understand why these powers exist, you know what I mean? So the fandangles are in the world, you are born in the world, so it is there for you to have. You understand? So if you get a good job, you can have money to buy whatever you want, you know? So it's in the world, it's there. So I mean, why not reach for something that is far more unattainable in this world especially, which is a spiritual balance, a balance where you don't get I'm feeling hate for your brother or your sister and you know, just doing the wrong thing. Why not strive for that harmony? So that is what we're about and, you know, portraying. Yeah, man.
Are there any other projects that we can look forward to in 2023? I know you're more than likely going to be touching the road, hopefully, in the summer months as well. But are there any other projects our viewers should look out for?
Well, we're trying to break ground now in the US, trying to spread the vibes and the energy in that market. So all the people in the US can look out, and then for those who have the power to manifest the roots in the US in a certain capacity, we are open to hear. Yeah, because that is what it is, and good people know who we are now and know what we stand for, you know what I mean? And it's not just me, obviously. I have a team, the Dreadites, I have my sister as well, and as I said, people know what we stand for. So whoever is going to approach us has to know that, we are not really into, making money for the pleasure of it, nor making money just to, have things. You understand? Yeah, we really, money is really not the cause of what we do, why we do. We need to survive, you know what I mean? So obviously everybody needs money, but you have to have some type of integrity in your spirit, some type of integrity in the way you still do things, in your moral outlook on the world, you know what I mean? Or it doesn't make sense to promote this type of music. And we have no problem if everyone wants to back off, Jah will find a way, to be honest. That's always been the way, because we're not going to compromise, the world that we want to live in, the world of paradise that Christ talk about, that Haile Selassie come and try to show us how to create. It's the world I want to live in, so I don't intend to fit this world, you know what I mean? I prefer to wait until there's a next flesh to live in another time, if it's so. So, as I say, that is basically what the root of everything is, and not only for what Micah Shemaiah is going to be doing in the future, or where we're going to be going, or whatever. I want people to focus on the goodness, you know what I mean? Because it's not about me, as I keep telling people from day one. There are other conscious artists out there, there are other people out there that are doing conscious things. You might listen to me, you might not like the way I look, you might not like the sound of my voice, you might not like the personality that I maintain, because it's never going to be perfect for any one sect of people or everyone, you know what I mean? So the roots and the truth and the reality of life, it exists all around. So you can find it in someone that looks more like you can find it in someone that sounds more like you can find it in someone that is doing something more to what you are interested in, but find it, because finding it is the key, and within that, then I get to live a more comfortable life, because then, you get to sing less, you know what I mean? Because I would love to right now to have like 3 years off, you know what I mean? But it's not possible, because you see that if you lay down, the evil is not going to stop just because you lay down, keep going double fold. So, and a lot of the elders, I'm sure they would have wanted to have rest long before I came into this business, you know what I mean? But it's because of the way how I have done it, so everybody might not have the same perspective. But how me do it now, I'm bridging them, you do it like, as we say, whenever they go on about the studio and go itch up and thing, we do it. So I'm an engineer, I'm a videographer, a couple of videos that you see out there on YouTube, videograph, edit, everything that it takes to get the message out there and get it out there in a way where the corruption that exists in the world cannot contaminate it. And that's all that it is, to get it out there so that it's not contaminated while going out there, and you not contaminated as well. Yes. And it's been very hard, but we love it, and we love Jah, and we love the mystics of the Most High. And as I say, the flesh is here to learn and to exercise the spiritualness, to exercise the goodness, and to learn and to grow. So the flesh is essentially to grow the spirit that is within you. Yeah. So if this flesh gets tired, I'm not too worried, because me speaking to you right now, I'm living and trying and working to be forever living with the Most High, to exist forever, and the only way you can do that is through goodness. You understand? Because if you notice, there's nothing that's bad that can't continue. It's a virus, it eventually meets. You know what I mean?
True.
Yeah, man.
Well, look, Micah, I really have to give thanks to you for taking a little bit of time out today to talk to us about the brand new album, which is available on vinyl, CD, and all digital download sites as well. I want to give thanks for your time today.
Every time, brother. Yeah, I'm a virgin, so that's easy. You know what I mean? Big up to the family. You know what I mean? Reggae Interviews, big respect every time. On and on. As I say, you know, when you capture, because, you know, capturing is not such a good thing if you're not living the capture. True. Yeah? So never forget to learn from whatever it is. And this is for all people who taking out them phones and capturing. You know, try to live the moment. Because a lot of what technology is doing now is taking away the moments from us.
Yes.
So we don't become the moments. We can see it and can watch it and play it over and over again, but we don't become it. Yeah, man.
Micah, give thanks, one love.
Every time. Big up all the viewers.
Reggae Interviews. Word Sound Power.